A group in Nigeria which wants to secede from the West African nation has said it will hold a rally on Friday to mark the inauguration of US President-elect Donald Trump. The indigenous people of Biafra, which wants the independence of Biafra in the eastern region of Nigeria, said it was inviting people to a pro-Trump rally in the southern oil hub of Port Harcourt. The group says it welcomes civil and pragmatic democracy anywhere we find it. The Biafra region unsuccessfully fought for independence in a brutal 3-year civil war that ended in 1970. The group has renamed its push for secession as Biafrexit after the UK's Brexit vote to leave the European Union. Prince Emmanuel Kanu, the brother of the group's leader Nnamdi Kanu, who has been held by the Nigerian government since October 2015 on treason charges, said Trump had won their favor as he supports the right to self-determination. Separatist sentiments have grown in the months since Kanu's arrest and sparked clashes with security forces that have since been condemned by human rights groups.
In 2016, my husband celebrated you, Mr. President, in the success of your election victory with joy and hope. On January 20th, 2017, IPOB members held a peaceful rally in Rivers State, Nigeria, in commemoration of your inauguration, a rally we called Trump Rally. That day, over 11 innocent lives were shot dead. Trump. My name is Uchechi Okwu Kanu, the wife of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. First of all, Mr. President, I would like to thank you for speaking out against the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. Your words calling this an existential threat and demanding action have pierced the silence that too often surrounds these atrocities. By designating Nigeria a country of particular concern and ordering a congressional investigation, you have signaled that the lives of persecuted Christians matter on the global stage. In a time when many leaders remain silent, your voice has brought visibility to the suffering of thousands. May this be a turning point for justice, protection, and peace. Thank you, sir. Today, Mr. President, I speak to you not only as a wife, but as a mother, as a woman whose family has been torn apart by injustice. I speak with the weight of grief, with the strength of truth, regardless. I speak as a woman carrying the weight of a nation's cry, the cry for justice, for truth, and for the right to live in peace. Or for the right, to live in peace. My husband, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leads the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, the non-violent movement seeking the actualization of Biafra and the protection of Judeo-Christian communities in Nigeria. For this, he has been persecuted relentlessly. In 2016, my husband celebrated you, Mr. President, in the success of your election victory with joy and hope. On January 20th, 2017, IPOB members held a peaceful rally in Rivers State, Nigeria, in commemoration of your inauguration, a rally we called Trump Rally. That day, over 11 innocent lives were shot dead. Many were wounded, and several are still in prison to this very moment. That rally, Mr. President, marked the beginning of a deadly hunt to murder my husband. Attempted not once, but 4 times. And in each of those attempts, many Christian bloods were spilled. In 2020, my husband attended your rally in Des Moines, Iowa. For that act of solidarity, the Biden administration denied him a visa to enter the United States. And in 2022, I too was denied entry alongside our youngest son. We were turned away, not for any crime, but for our association with a man who dared to stand with truth. In 2021, for daring to speak truth to power, the Buhari government kidnapped my husband, tortured him, and extraordinarily renditioned him to Nigeria, where he has been held in solitary confinement for 4 years and 5 months. His only crime is raising his voice for the voiceless. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a Judeo-Christian and a vocal advocate for Judaism. Throughout the years of persecution, my husband has endured relentless blackmail, but one truth remains. The truth that remains unshaking is that no single soul has ever stood before a court and testified under oath or with any evidence whatsoever that they committed a crime because of his words. Not one witness, not one shred of proof. No weapon was ever found on him. No act of violence traced to him. His voice has always been his only tool. He has never carried a weapon, yet he has been hunted and persecuted for defending the dignity of our people, while those who spill innocent Christian blood walk free and strike deals with the very state that should protect its citizens. If we must give this a name, it is called persecution. Mr. President, I want to thank you once again for speaking boldly about the plight of Christians in Nigeria. You have done what others feared to do. You named the threat, you pledged action, and you gave hope to the forgotten. On November 6th, 2025, my husband, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, wrote to you through the US Embassy in Abuja. He echoed your own words that the United States is prepared to act militarily and cut aid if Nigeria fails to protect its Christian population. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wrote to you and he said, "You have seen the truth, Mr. President. Christians in Nigeria face an existential threat." He revealed that this threat is most severe in the Igbo heartland, where Judeo-Christians suffer daily. Mr. President, I ask you, please do not let this cry go unanswered. You have the power to shine a light where there has been only darkness. You have the moral authority to act where others have failed or faltered. We need your voice, your strength, your leadership, now more than ever. He also applauded you for a US-led, he appealed for a US-led independent inquiry into the situation in the eastern part of Nigeria, with full access to mass graves, military logs, and survivor testimonies. We are not asking for pity, but for truth and justice, Mr. President. And we believe this is not only urgent, but morally necessary for the world to see what has been hidden for too long. I want to use this opportunity to thank Senator Ted Cruz and the Congressman Riley Moore, amongst others, for raising your voice, for coming to the aid of the innocent blood of Christians being spilled in Nigeria. While your voices and courage matter, your immense support gives us strength. And now, I turn to women of the world. The women who have shaped nations with their words, who have lifted generations with their courage. I reach out, I would like to call on the First Lady of the United States of America, the First Lady Melania Trump, to Usher Vance, wife of the Vice President of the United States, to Erica Kirk, the widow of the American political activist Charlie Kirk. God bless his departed soul. I ask you to stand with me, to raise your voices, to help me bring my husband home. To women like Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, women who have shaped nations with their words and have lifted generations with their courage. I reach out to you not as a politician, but as a mother or wife whose husband's life hangs in balance, and a woman standing in fire. You have spoken often about the power of truth, the pain of injustice, and the sacred duty to protect the vulnerable. I ask you now to please hear my voice, not because I am famous, but because I am human. Because my husband, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is being persecuted for defending the defenseless. Because my children are growing up without their father. Because I am recovering from surgery with no care, no protection, and no rest. You have taught us that silence is not an option. That when we see injustice, we must speak. And that when we see suffering, we must act. I believe you when you say that women can change the world. I believe you when you say that love is a force for justice. So I ask you to please lend your voice to mine. Help me bring light to this darkness. Help me hold the world to account. Help me bring my husband home. Let us show the world that women can do what women can do. Let's show the world what women can do when we rise together. Not just for ourselves, but for those who have no platforms, no protection, no peace. And for this to be a call to women everywhere, all over the world, when a man is persecuted for defending the vulnerable, it is not only his fight, it is also ours. Before I end this broadcast, I want to speak directly to the Nigerian youth, to all peace-loving young people, to take to their social media platforms to thank President Trump. To you young souls, you are the heartbeat of the nation. You are the ones who dance in the joy of your nation and bleed in its sorrow. You are not powerless. You are powerful beyond measures. I ask you now to rise up for truth with vision, absent violence, not with weapons, but with your words, with your platforms, and your courage. Use your social media platform as a sanctuary of justice for your voices to echo across the world. Go on and thank President Donald Trump for speaking up. Go on and amplify his voice, hasting his intentions to confront the slaughter of innocent lives in Nigeria. Demand that these slaughtering be stopped. You are not too young or too small to matter. You are not too young to lead either. You are the generation that can say enough, and enough will be enough. For to be silent in the face of evil is to be complicit, and it's also a sign that your souls have been conquered. Therefore, speak up now, that you may be free. And to the Nigerian politicians, the time to stand and challenge adversity has come. You were elected to serve, not to silence. You were chosen to protect, not to persecute. The blood of the innocent, they cry out. These blood cry out from the ground. The world is watching. History is reckoning, and your silence will not be forgotten. I challenge you now, challenge you today to speak up, to stand up, defend the truth, protect the vulnerable. If you cannot stop the violence, at least do not shield it. Do not stifle the voice that wants to cry out about it. If you cannot lead with courage, then you should not lead at all. The soul that stays quiet in the face of evil is either conquered or complicit. This is your moment. Use it for justice, for truth and legacy. Thank you once again, Mr. President. May justice rise and peace prevail. And let truth be heard always. With hope and respect, yours sincerely, Uchechi Okwu Kanu. Thank you.